Alright. Hopefully I got my audio fixed. It sounded a little jacked up last time. But, anyways, we're here with Eriette, I think that's how you pronounce it, of the Charmed Apple. So we try to put a bunch of auras into play, whether they're pacifies, buffs on our own creatures, or curses for your opponent's face. And the more we have, the more life we steal. Well, you don't really get to use either of these either of the abilities on this card if it's dead, right? Like your deck kind of, like both of these things are extremely relevant to your strategy. So if you're going to play something like this, then you really need to keep your commander alive. Oh, I didn't even know you could do this. Whoa. Whoa. So with that, we have a bunch of protection spells on one, Skrell, Giver of Runes, the 1 minute instant speed ones, the black and white ones, stuff like that to keep this alive. Mox Amber is particularly strong by letting you cast this on turn 3, right? And then you have Mox Amber to protect it. That's why it's in here. I'm not running any Mana Rock because I just want more of this strategy. Just more interesting cards, less of the same thing I've done 10 trillion times, right? And the curve is fairly low. It basically stops at 4, and there's not even that many 4 drops. We have the big windmill slam bombs of the auras here, the curses, but this one is usually very bad. But there are some games and decks that are not good at dealing with this, right? So it might do something. Mono black, mono red. Even some green decks might struggle to blow this up unless they have like their Beseiju or something. So I'm going to try that. But Overwhelming Splendor is obviously extremely powerful and will probably be my go-to a lot. There's also Recursion with auras with Rise to Glory and Luris. Luris is in here because there's a lot of things that are fine to come back. A lot of pacify effects, right? It's really nice. That's why this companion thing is here. I don't think I can get rid of it. If I take Luris out, it might go away, but just have to deal with it, I guess. The One Ring, because it's stupid. Necropotence, because it's dumb. The Shield Druid, Davriel, card draw, Degeneracy. We got that going for us. Rite of Oblivion is pretty neat too, right? A way to sacrifice the One Ring if it'll kill you. Or just, you can sacrifice Angelic Gift. You know, like, oh, maybe you don't need the flying. You just drew a card, then you sacrifice it to this. Seems pretty nice. And that's about it, I think. Yep, we got the Light Paws, Saram, and the... What's the other one? The Scorp Spirit Dancer. We got those going for us, obviously. Oh, so stuff like this, you can enchant your opponent's creature, and it can't swing. So you don't have to put this on your own creature. There's a couple others in here. I think I had like Ethereal Armor in here for a second that did the same thing. But I don't want to go too heavy into that, because if you put this on your opponent's creature and then your commander dies, well, you just gave something of theirs flying and evasion, and it's going to beat you up. So don't want too much of that going on, because again, this has to be in play for that to matter. And yep, like, comment, subscribe. Let's see how we do. I'm at 5. That literally kills me. Okay, you got it. Alright. Yeah, so they can generate a card and cast it over and over with the Paradox Engine, and eventually they'll find enough Lightning Bolts to kill me, because this generates Lightning Bolt, right? Yeah, it generates Lightning Bolts, so I believe no matter what I do, I am dead. Well, that's dumb. Nissa will never really die is the problem, so I don't know how I get out of this. Cool. Yep. Alright, I'm dead. Yep, I went too long without lands in the early game, and then I never had my footing to stop enough cards, so I just died. Overwhelming Splendor does not stop them. Alright, game's done. Yep. I literally needed them to not have this. That's what I needed. My opponent had a way to make infinite food, and then I lost because of it. My removal does not remove text boxes. Also, they undid half my removal by sacrificing their own cards that I had answered, which is why I utterly detest enchantment-based removal, because if your opponent blows it up, you're going to look like an idiot. This, again, I don't think we can beat Emoti. I don't think we can beat Emoti, because I cannot stop Emoti's text. I can't stop the text box. I can pacify it, but everything they do has Cascade. And I literally can't do anything. So, I'm going to play it out just to prove it. You know what? We're going to play it out to prove it. We're here to lose. Nowhere to go but up. Yeah, we can totally beat Emoti. Yeah, totally. Yep. Can totally beat that. Uh-huh. Oh no, the streak is broken. Oh, I didn't win the first game. Damn. I didn't win the first game. I usually do. Oh well. Wow, this hand is weird. Thalia? Oh, jeez. None of this... I don't know. Surely we'll get our colors, though, right? Come on, game. Alright, so I can tutor for Overwhelming Splendor? This feels stupid. Oh, I should probably get something a little bit more relevant. Like, I guess I have to take Rune of Sustenance because I can enchant literally anything and draw a card. Because nothing else finds me a... whatchamacallit. I'm going to put it here because it doesn't really matter if this has lifelink. If I ever get my commander in play, this will now not be able to swing. Okay, let's play nothing. Like, it's fine if it has lifelink, I don't really care. I just want my commander in play too. You know, what essentially pacifies it anyways. Still not too excited about playing this without any way to keep it safe, though. Right, I don't have anything that does that. Okay, so let's put... which one do we put on here? Yeah, this one here. Stopping Thalia from attacking is pretty good. Pretty good. And I guess I could just put one of these in play. But I also just don't have to. It's not really doing anything. Stealing an additional life is not going to get me there. Do they have a fetch land? No, they don't. Well, this could have been slightly worse. It still doesn't look very good. Alright, that was a decent draw. I guess it lets me cycle some of these cards that are otherwise not terribly exciting. Okay, let's put this here, actually. Oh, hey, it's Light Paws. How adorable. And seeing how I have SRAM in play, I might as well, like, put this here. I don't want to put them all in the same card. And both of my cards in play are actually pretty good right now, so makes sense to me. I cannot attack, it would die. Yeah. Oh, they milled over Shieldred? Oh, well, I'm sure they wanted that one. Yep, that's not really much of a surprise there. But I have plenty of mana to just put it back into play. The creatures enter tapped. I highly doubt that matters. What does this do? Other creatures are bigger, and whenever you play a land, you get stuff. Alright. Well, their lands make me steal life from them, because they make tokens, so that's pretty good for me. I do have a lot of life. Wow. Overwhelming Splendor. How nice. Alright, let's do this. Let's put this here. Alright, I have Overwhelming Splendor, which will be very useful. It's just another card my opponent really wants to do something about. Titania. Neat. They top-decked Casualties of War? Is that what this is? You've got to be kidding me. Of course. So stupid. Alright, whatever. Completely unbelievable. 4, 5, 6. Yep, now I can't even cast this. That was probably the best draw in their entire deck. Well, I mean, Craterhoof Behemoth would have been absolutely atrocious as well, but it's unbelievable. Whatever. Top deck Casualties of War. Yep. What a surprise. I can still maybe sort of kind of win. They're making food so they don't die. Makes sense. So one land away from doing that again. Yeah? Or do I just play this and Torment of Scarabs? I think that's slightly better, because that way I just get to draw more cards. Because I just need a land. It doesn't really matter what I put under Light Paws. Maybe just the rune because it draws a card. Fine. Again, just looking for a land. Of course not. My opponent also needs, like, Stone Cold Nothing now, which they've drawn so many cards, it's probably not going to happen. They can easily sacrifice it. No, well, you should have sacrificed a creature token, shouldn't you have? I would have. Which Vorinclex is that? That is the one that locks down your mana. Okay. They'll have a lot of 1/1s post Overwhelming Splendor, which could be a serious problem. They also could have an answer to this, but currently they do not. My mana is stuck because of Vorn Collects, but I mean, this has to be good enough anyways. That doesn't really matter. That's funny. It's also completely useless right now. Alright, what do we put on Light Paws this time? All that glitters makes it massive, but that doesn't really matter too much. I guess I can force a chump block and swing with that. Okay. Alright, so now it's a matter of do they have a way to deal with Overwhelming Splendor. Casualties of War has been played already. Farewell wouldn't really make a lot of sense, but I've seen Farewell and crazier things, so... Alright, they don't have anything. Cool, so let's block here and here. My opponent left themselves dead if I deal with this 1/1. Which I don't believe I can. Am I dead? Math is hard. If I swing here, they take 4. I've 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm 1 off from being dead, I think. But it involves me not swinging. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I block one of them. So if they have a removal spell, I'm dead. If they play a creature pre-combat, they could jack this up a little bit. Looks like they did not. Alright, so they have a way to kill me? Or did my math just... was my math wrong? Nope, it wasn't wrong. I think they thought they won. I think my opponent thought they won and said good game. Oh, wow, that's funny. Okay, I took out the the big black curse and added Rest in Peace, just to have more ways to, or just a way to deal with graveyard strategies or graveyard value. There seems to be a fair amount looming around lately, so this probably makes sense. It does make this a little bit worse, but you don't always have both in the same game, right? So I think that makes sense. Let's try it. Let's try it. Oh, come on! I've never seen this commander ever. I've literally never seen this commander played. And now I'm playing a deck that wants to enchant my opponent's creatures. I don't know. I don't know. Rune, might as well. It's not, like, unwinnable completely, but oh my goodness, is it really terrible. Surge Engine. Okay, what does this do? Gains less values of 5/4. Okay. If I don't play this now, I'll never get to play it, so I'll just play it now. Yeah. Is it spells only? No, they're not gonna block. Whenever this creature... Spell or an ability. Oh, it's an ability too, so... Unbelievable. Davriel is kind of useless. Let's, what do we do now? Do I play Davriel, though? Do I play it anyways? I mean, it means they can't really swing without discarding. Actually, what am I talking about? I should really do this. Yeah, and then... Yeah, that's fine. I just need lands. Oh, wow. If I didn't do that, I would have not seen a land for a while, so... Is it artifacts? It must be. I don't know what else it could be. It doesn't really matter, though. Artifacts or normal creatures, I don't think it matters. Hey, we drew off of Esper Sentinel. Look at that. It's good to see this now. It means I can curse them without losing. Although it is pretty easy for mono blue to bounce this. So that actually isn't saying much at all. Griffspoon. Griffspoon means they can't swing at me, I guess. Doesn't really change much, though. Rite of Oblivion can deal with the One Ring at some point as well, which is nice. That's so disgusting, though. I have to target everything twice. I have no board wipes. I haven't seen any counterspells yet, but to be fair, there hasn't been too many spots where they could have cast one anyways. Alright, well, they obviously have counterspells. You don't play Brawl if you don't have counterspells. What does this do? Unless they pay 3. Okay, so I can use... What is the other side of this? I'm actually fine with trading this with my cards, so... Alright, so no trades here. So be it. What do I do? I think I go after the One Ring, so they can't scam me. And I sacrifice... this rune here. It doesn't seem terribly useful right now. And then I let them... Non-creature spell. Alright, so it doesn't really matter what I cast. This isn't even that useful. And it gets a counterspell out of the way. No, this is just stupid. That's just dumb. Is it dumb? No, it's not. No, it's not. I draw a card. It's fine. Like, the Torment of Scales just makes them discard a card. I guarantee you there's a dead card in hand anyway, so you might as well just let it be a thing. I can pacify my own stuff. If I can get to 6 auras, can do something maybe. Leveling that up doesn't do anything. Okay, that could do something. One, two... I'm 1 enchantment short. But they also need to not have a counterspell. So, this gonna do like a lot of good stuff here. Alright, so I just swing with this here. It actually doesn't matter where I swing, they're always just going to block. I might as well force the block by just doing it like this. But it doesn't really matter. So I do have lethal, but I need to have no counters from the opponent. And this doesn't really do it. So let's see what happens when I do this. Of course, they have a counter spell. So now I am one short. So I might as well shut this down. Because it's a 2-turn clock regardless. Can also leave up this. Okay, I guess. Oh, jeez. We did it. Oh, we did it. Oh. They just had no recourse. Yep, we just did it. So by the time they got to a wall of probably counter spells, you know, the early game was just playing stuff, we had enough in play already for them to just not be able to do anything, right? Unless they had now specifically bounce spells, which they just, you know, didn't seem to have, because, I mean, you need to play a fair amount of creatures to justify this. That's a crazy win, because this commander literally just counters all of my pacifies and stuff. Okay, so yeah, after playing 2 hours, I lost all but 2 games. So I only won 2 games with this. It's really, really bad. It's not a SRAM deck or a Light Pause deck, right? It's not doing that. It might be able to, but at that point I kind of like Ink Master a bit more. I really just wanted that first ability to be like super relevant, right? Just pacifying my opponent's creatures with kind of any aura, and then just winning with stealing life. But the problem is, there are so many cards in the game that make it so your enchantment-based removal, whether it's an O-Ring or a Pacify, or Arrest, let's just say Arrest, they can just sacrifice the enchanted creature you had. They can cast a removal spell on their own creature. They can cast board wipes and not really care about their own creatures because, they're just pacified, so it doesn't stop it. It also doesn't remove the text like Pacify. There are some that do, but there's a lot that don't remove the text of your opponent's cards, so they can still use them to kill you. Like I lost to, was it Ayara or whatever, the triple black 2/3. It can still drain you. It can still tap to sacrifice black creatures. It does not care it's pacified. There's a lot of things that don't care about you racing them down with like 5 auras a turn, right? It's just not enough to kill your opponent. There's plenty of decks that just don't deal with that, right? Like people are killing themselves with the One Ring just fine. So this on its own, stealing life, isn't fast enough. It's nowhere near fast enough. You could try... This came out in the same set as the rolls, you know, the roll enchant token things. Like these right here, like... Whoops, oh, there they go. But they don't really... They don't change anything. Like, these don't change what the problem is. It would be more just playing creatures and more enchanting random stuff and hope that's good enough. Like, you might be able to get away with... The one thing I might have been doing slightly wrong is putting specifically Rune of Sustenance and Rune of Mortality on creatures. I could put these on lands, and then they're just in the game forever. Kind of like Devotion. It's like sitting perpetual Devotion. You can't stop because it's sitting on a land. It can still obviously blow up or whatever, but it might be a little bit better. Greater Auramancy is also kind of funky. I can enchant my creature once, and then I can never enchant it again because it's Shroud, not Hexproof. So it's still probably worth it, right? You put this in play, you enchant this, it stays safe forever. That would be kind of decent, right? Just like a Swiftfoot Boots or whatever. But I don't know. I never got into a position where I was excited to reanimate anything with Rise to Glory. Barely got any Lurrus value. I didn't get any that ended up mattering. Yeah, it's just, there's not enough here to make this good. I really don't think so. You have to, like, play against things that are extremely slow and don't have a lot of recourse to a bunch of enchantments in play. And then even still, you have to answer the slow strategy, and that slow strategy can't be spell-based, because if it is, you lose. This doesn't stop Emoti. Emoti doesn't care if it's pacified. It'll still cascade. It'll still cast Kogla. You know, if you don't instantly deal with Kogla, it's going to swing and start blowing up your stuff. Like, it just does, it's not there. It's not there. So, yeah, there's too many quote-unquote auto losses, probably in the form of Atali and Emoti, in the format anyways, to make this not viable. And then everything that you might be able to beat probably doesn't care that you're doing this stuff to it. I played against Glass Spinner, the thing that counters the first spell targeted on it, and it just does it for all your creatures. So I had to like 2-for-1 my pacifies on their mono blue stuff. Like, there's just so much nonsense that makes this really bad. And I've done this before, I think maybe with Light Paws. I don't know what deck it was. It might have just been Ink Master or Ink Duelist, whatever, trying to pacify my opponent's creatures and letting that be good enough, but it's not. It's just not. Like, they can village rights their own creature to get value anyways, and you basically negative card it yourself by pacifying something they sacrificed for free value. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. And again, the One Ring exists, so your colossal payoff and a lot of curses just fall right off because they gain protection from everything. So this will just fall off, right? And then you're screwed. You're completely screwed. Your massive 8-mana card was countered by a card that draws 600 cards and is literally in every deck ever. So that's just a thing. There's plenty of tutors looming around too, right? So this is somewhat consistent, and if your opponent is aware that that's a thing, then they're going to keep trying to find this card with all their resources, and once they do, this falls off, and then you're back to dealing with whatever you probably weren't going to deal with anyways, if this is no longer on your opponent. So you're just in a really bad spot with so many games. So it's just not there. You just have to play this in the SRAM strategy, where you're just putting it all exactly on this card and then just swinging at your opponent and killing them, and completely ignoring the front of the front side of this, the top part of the text. You're not worrying about that. You're just draining your opponent faster than SRAM would, because you're doubling up on the life stealing, kind of, right? Because you're stealing life for each aura. SRAM doesn't do that. It's worse than SRAM, and probably Ink Duelist or whatever, if we're going to play a Voltron strategy, because it doesn't draw cards. So you just have to win with the hand you're given, and you're not keeping up with your opponent. There's no recourse at all if this dies, and it also costs 3 mana instead of 2, which is colossal for a Voltron Aura strategy, right? Your opponent plays Llanowar Elves, and then you play this on turn 3, and they were on the play. You're not winning that game, but SRAM has some recourse where it could, because it costs 2, and that is huge. Also, it can actually play equipment. This doesn't care about equipment at all. So that Voltron strategy does not seem favorable with this commander. So yeah, there's nothing here. Nothing like this, at least. So don't recommend it. But if you have ideas for it, let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.